Now, you may know that there are plans on the books for one way of providing relief on the Yonge Street subway, which is what they call a downtown relief line to ease pressure at the two big subway interchanges, Yonge Bloor and St. George and Bloor. To me, building a conventional underground relief line first at this point in time comes with two huge drawbacks. For one, that line would take almost 2 decades to build and cause severe neighborhood and business disruption. 2 decades to build, it won't get done until 2031 at the earliest, and maybe later. This isn't the world of 1954 when they dug up Yonge Street to build our first subway. You've all seen those aerial photographs. And, you know, we were a much smaller city then, and somehow we got by. So that's one drawback. But the second drawback is this. While that conventional downtown relief line would help subway riders already on the system, it would do nothing to extend rapid transit to the furthest corners of our city or to ease congestion on our roads by attracting more Torontonians out of their cars. In fact, Olivia Chow's stopgap plan to put more buses on the road over the next 17 years will simply produce more driver frustration and, for that matter, more frustration by transit passengers who are on those buses in the traffic that is getting worse and worse and worse. So with this conventional relief line, even when you're done, a minimum of 17 years from now, the problem remains bigger than the solution. It's the wrong line at the wrong time, and it isn't funded. We are only going to get one chance to get this right in terms of when and where we do things. And it seems to me that we need a solution that provides both downtown and citywide relief, a solution that takes the pressure off the Yonge subway line and brings rapid transit to the city's outlying corners for the first time. And that is why I am pleased to outline for you today a transit relief plan that I believe can break the back of the city's congestion problems, including the problems we're experiencing on the Yonge Street subway line at the present time, and do that within 7 years. I am calling it the One Toronto Transit Plan because its goal is to get people moving again in all four corners of the city in a smarter and faster way and connect people with jobs and jobs with people. Now, right now, our transit system keeps many Torontonians in vertical silos. People who live in one area of the city have to pass on jobs in other areas of the city because the math on the commute for them simply doesn't add up. I recently met a business owner, for example, from Markham. He was in the software business. He employs 175 people, a very successful business. He talked to me about the concerns he has on attracting top young talent to work for his innovative business. And the problem for him is very simple and yet very complicated. He has no transit he can point to offer those young workers, many of whom live by the Rogers Centre or somehow in downtown Toronto. He has no way of pointing to them to a transit option that gets them to and from Markham. And of course, the situation is true in reverse, and it's true within our own city, within the borders of 416. There are people who are seeking and would love to have a job in one part of the city that live in another and don't see an acceptable way of getting there. A lot of these young workers, and it's not confined to people who are young, but a lot of these people live downtown, don't have a car. We've been encouraging people to live downtown and do without a car if they possibly could. And so there's an inability for those people to commute. And so that you can see a conventional downtown relief line will not help the man that I talked about with his business in Markham. It will not help the worker who wants to have that job in some other part of the city and can't get there by public transportation. But the One Toronto Transit Plan will bring citywide transit relief, covering a vastly wider area, and it will help that man and that company recruit many of the young, talented people he wants to recruit that are living downtown, and vice versa for that matter. It will help people from across this region get connected to jobs and help jobs get connected to people, and it will do so in 7 short years. 7 versus 17. 7 years versus 17. That is a key thing to keep in mind as we go through this. But let's have a closer look at this rapid transit line, and you can take a look behind me. And what you'll see is the green line is the proposed Toronto Relief Line, or SmartTrack line for short. And it is one of the 3 priorities in my One Toronto transit plan. And the other 2, and we'll talk about them a bit as we go through here, are the Scarborough Subway and getting on with that, and a new emphasis on moving more people more quickly through expanded express bus service. And I will come to those in a moment. But the SmartTrack line, again, which you can see here in the green on this map, and you can see some of the existing subways, and the one that sort of goes across the middle there is the Eglinton crosstown line that is under construction. But the SmartTrack line will be Toronto's first regional express rail line. It will offer electrified, frequent, all-day, 2-way express rail service along existing GO corridors from the Airport Corporate Centre in the west to Union Station, down in the downtown core, of course, and back up to Markham in the east, and it will offer this for the price of a TTC ride.